All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it sounds crazy to say it, but the last practice of training camp is over. It's officially done. We got the Giants game on Saturday, which should be crazy, right? Aaron Rodgers is going to be starting along with a ton of other starters. No Breece Hall, no Dalvin Cook. Completely fine with it. Personally, I am not going, like, if I was Saleh, if I was the head coach of the team, I'm not rolling the starters out there for long. I'm thinking one, maybe two series. I'm just playing it safe. I don't want to be sorry. That's just me, though. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Saleh actually kind of dove into his reasoning behind it. He said that really the goal here is to get Rodgers on the field, first time wearing the Jet uniform, first time, with a new team in MetLife Stadium, as a member of the Jets, working with new teammates. So it's just to give him like a little dose of it before the Buffalo Bills, a great team comes into the building on Monday night. So on one hand, I do understand it, but then on the other, it's like, okay, if we allow him to play, right? If Rodgers wants to play, that's one thing, but to kind of green like this, again, for me, I'm thinking one, maybe two series max. It doesn't sound like Saleh has like a hard cap or like a dead a specific amount of snaps or drives that he wants Rodgers to do. It's more so getting him comfortable. So it could be one drive, it could be two drives, maybe it's more. I'm not sure, but it's a big storyline nonetheless, right? It should be crazy. Now, in regards to today's practice, there wasn't really a lot being reported on, which is fine. But there are a couple things that I do want to dive into. Okay, the first is the whole Carl Lawson situation, right? The Carl Lawson situation is getting a bit weird. As we all know, he's dealing with the back tightness, which was reported 3 weeks ago. We're on week number 3. This was before, it was a thing even before the Carolina Panthers joint practices all those weeks ago, right? In the first week of preseason, right? Preseason week 1, not for the Jets because of the Hall of Fame game, but that's when this issue arose. And again, we're 3 weeks removed from it. So not only did Lawson miss another practice today, but when asked about it, right? When asked about the situation, Robert Saleh said that he really didn't have an answer on a timetable as far as him being available for week 1. That's up in the air. It doesn't really seem like there's any sort of any sort of layout as far as a potential return is concerned. It just kind of seems like they're playing it by ear, and when Lawson's ready to go, he's ready to go, which is fine in and of itself. Just looking at, you want Lawson to be at 100%, obviously, but for me, I'm just a bit confused on what exactly is happening. I'm not a doctor here. I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what's going on, but it does feel a bit weird how when it was first brought up, it was talked about like he might miss, 2 practices. He might miss, 2-3 days, but we're in, again, week 3. And if his status for week 1 is up in the air, that's 2 weeks from now. So it's like, I would feel a lot more comfortable if it was like a, like a AVT situation or a Laken Tomlinson situation where they're dealing with their specific injuries, but Saleh's like, yeah, they're going to be there. They're going to be starting week 1. With this, it's like for him to not have that closure, for him to not have that solidified answer for a game that is over 2 weeks away, and he's already missed 3 weeks of practices. To me, I'm concerned. I am legitimately concerned at this point in time. I don't know what it could be. I don't know if it's maybe, something just isn't right, or, what the case is, or maybe there's a second injury that's that Lawson's experiencing. I'm not sure what's happening. The good news, though, the Jets are stacked with pass rushers, right? Defensive end specifically. First round pick Will McDonald has been killing it, which is awesome. So cool to see. Of course, we got Bryce Huff, who's considered like right now like a veteran, even though he's still such a young player. Jermaine Johnson also been having a great camp. Michael Clemens as well. And, in the event that, Lawson can't go or he's put on IR to start the season, which would be crazy. That would just be absolutely mind-blowing, to say the least. But in the event that happens, cut downs are next week, right? Or at least the deadline is Tuesday, next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So maybe the Jets, if they're thinking like, okay, we have to have some sort of at least like soft answer by Tuesday, because if we have to cut down this roster and there are, talented players getting waived, maybe potential players that Joe Douglas and Saleh liked in, the undrafted free agent market, or maybe previous late or middle round picks that just aren't making their team. Or maybe even it's a bigger name veteran that's just too expensive or something like that. Like we just saw Isaiah Simmons, former first round pick, former top 10 pick, get dealt for a 7th round pick today, early this morning, to the New York Giants. So maybe the Jets could pounce on an opportunity like that with the pass rusher if they feel like Lawson is going to be missing an extended period of time and they don't want to necessarily give all the reps to the young pass rushers on the team. They would prefer to have at least one more veteran in the room. So maybe that's a path that they could explore, but it's a strange situation to say the least. Now, something else to make a note of, according to multiple reporters, Mekhi Becton was out at practice, but he was on the stationary bike, so he wasn't in like individual drills, he wasn't in the team drills or anything like that, like the 11-on-11 first team. Becton, supposedly didn't participate in them. And it kind of makes you think like, when dealing with Becton, like the first thought is like, okay, is he 100%? Is he healthy? How's the knee? What's going on here? I'm hoping, right, because there's still, up to this point, there still hasn't been any sort of clarification. Let me just double check quickly. Yeah, so I still can't find anything on it. So hopefully it's just like a precautionary or like a predetermined rest day for Becton, like a load management type of deal, which is something that Saleh has talked about in regards to Becton and other players on the team, as far as like potential, with guys coming back from big time injuries here. Because let's face it, Dwayne Brown's coming off a rotator cuff, AVT season-ending injury, Breece Hall season-ending injury. Jets had a lot of banged-up players last season. I like the approach of taking it slow, giving guys scheduled off days, because that way you kind of have a calculated approach, a calculated roadmap, if you will, on how to effectively get guys healthy as soon as possible, but at the same time limiting the chances of mistakes or speed bumps or potential, hiccups along the way. But again, we don't know that to be a fact as far as like the filming of this video. So hope, and by the way, if news does break, let me know down below. This is something that I'm going to be trying to monitor throughout the day. But as far as the practice goes, the little information that I was able to find, supposedly Rodgers looked good again, connecting with Garrett Wilson at the end of practice, having a touchdown pass to kick things off with Randall Cobb at the start, which is obviously positive signs at this point in time. But of course, it's the last day of training camp. We should expect the offense to be clicking, at this point, building the chemistry with other guys. I can't wait for the Giants game, and then post Giants game, like we were talking about before, we have the roster cut down, so that should be a pretty hectic, pretty chaotic couple days, right, from Sunday through Tuesday at 4, and then it's trying to figure out what the practice squad is going to look like. Are the Jets claiming any players? Who are they going to be releasing? Who makes the final 53? All these different question marks. And then once that wraps up, I would probably assume like once the dust settles by Wednesday, I would think it's then time to start preparing for the Buffalo Bills. Week 1 of the regular season. Let's go. Let's go, right? Obviously, it's a massive, massive week. Bills are a great football team. It's an AFC East rival. It's primetime football. This is big-time stuff. Big-time stuff. We have to be on it. And yeah, the season is here. The season is finally here. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.